We need to be able to get a security alert from a tool. We need to be able to understand in plain English, what is it trying to tell you? Why should you care? What is the risk to my organization that this might pose? And what did we do about it, or what do we need you to do about it in order to resolve that? They need to see it, read the information, and be able to make a decision. Those are the things that make a security team valuable as an augmentation to an existing business.
That was part of a conversation that we had with Troy Santana. Troy joins us again this week. Last week, he was with us talking about staff augmentation in security, and this week, he is back to discuss the SOC, Security Operations Center. Exactly what these are, why you need one, and how you can set this up as an organization of any size. We're going to get to that conversation in just a minute, but first, it's time to have our breach of the week. It has been a quiet week for breaches this week, touch wood. So we're going to look at some alarming trends that have been reported on by the CloudSec Intelligence Research Team. And once again, we're putting AI back into the spotlight. Last week, we looked at ChatGPT and how the AI chatbot was tricked into producing malware worthy of a bug bounty. Today, we're looking at a different use case for AI, and that's videos. The CloudSec team reported that they've seen a 200 to 300% month-over-month increase in AI-generated videos that are designed to coach the watcher into downloading malware. If you're as old as me, you may remember going on to LimeWire or BearShare or some other kind of torrent client to try and find cracked software of programs that you really couldn't afford or shouldn't have. Well, this trend has come back. No longer are they using torrents to try and attach malware or just claim a virus as a cracked program. Now they're using video to add a layer of authenticity and trustworthiness into the user. The CloudSec team report that the videos are used to lure users by pretending to be tutorials on how to download cracked version of software such as Photoshop, Premiere Pro, Autodesk, 3ds Max, AutoCAD, and other expensive softwares. Instead, these videos actually lead the watcher to download information stealers. These information stealers will typically collect a victim's browser data, including password, cookies, crypto wallets, Telegram data, files such as .txt and Excel sheets, and system information. I've seen lots of videos of AI claiming to be good enough to be able to steal my job, and perhaps one day they will be. Right now, you can clearly see AI, and while there are legitimate use cases for using AI avatars in videos, the anonymity behind AI means that nefarious actors can break down some barriers of trust by putting in front of a human face. Some research suggests that even if we know it is an AI avatar, the fact that we're looking at a human face means that we find it more trustworthy than if we were just looking at a screen share, for example. So, yet again, AI comes into the spotlight of our breach of the week. And this scary new trend is certainly another reason why we need to have up-to-date security operations centers to be able to make sure that we are acting on the latest possible threat trends. So without further ado, here is a conversation with Troy Santana.
Could you just give us a quick high level of what do you do with an SOC? What is a security operations center? Why do we need one of those?
Yeah. So we were talking earlier about IT folks in general wearing many hats, right? You are the fix the printer guy. You're the, hey, my account's locked out. You're the, hey, we have new tool rollouts, what have you. So the security operations centers, the SOCs of the world, focus on actually using the information that's coming in from your security sources, from log sources that may have security relevance, and investigating those to determine if there is actually a threat to the organization, something that needs to be responded to, and operationalizing that information, getting it to your actual IT admins, getting it to whoever is there that needs to make the decision, right? So understanding that macros are a part of our world, especially for my finance folks out there. Shout out to all my Excel spreadsheet gurus. Do great jobs at building those things. But automation is the enemy of security in a lot of situations. And a macro runs on a machine, on Dave the finance guy's machine. I need to go to Dave and go, hey, uh, is this actually something you're doing? Was this something you were aware of? That's what your SOC is doing. They're being the security facilitators for your organization.
What kind of integrations with customers' existing infrastructure does it typically require in this SOC? How does it all fit together?
Security operations teams, their big piece is being able to actually get in and get information as quickly as possible, right? These days, the best way to have that interaction is mature API libraries for the security tools that are there, right? You want to be able to hook into those tools, get the most out of it as quickly as possible, and oftentimes that's not via GUI. It's not relying on visually navigating here and there. You want to be able to interact with that tool on that machine level. So having a mature API basis for security tools that can talk and perform all of the actions that your tools have, I think is incredibly important. And mature SOCs they hire smart people, and they will find ways. They will find ways to help automate investigations, or automate, like, oh, hey, every time I see this alert, these are the contextual pieces of information that I get. Let me go query the tool. And now every time this comes in, I'm going to build a Python script, and it's going to say, hey, every time I see this, this security alert come in, I want to get this piece of information from it. I want to go ask these other questions that I'm going to ask every single time. And now I can skip that step because the system will do it for me, and it'll show me what I need and the context that I need to make an informed decision.
Is there an advantage, you think, to bringing in an outside set of eyes and a set of skills to basically outsource that skill set of building a security operations center, versus having that pile of money up front to hopefully hire someone who can build that specifically for you?
Sure. So the big one's return on investment, right? Again, ideal world, yes, you can hire an internal team, build it up inside. They're going to be tuned and focused exactly where you want them to be. All of that takes time. It takes time, it takes experience, and the more time and the more experience that somebody has coming in, the more money they're going to cost up front. And that is an incredibly limiting resource for you and your organization. That ROI, I need it. Hey, prove to me that it happened. You're building a team. It may take more than a year to get that team completely spun up, trained, doing all the things that they need to do. Whereas when you go in and you use something like our MDR service, you're getting an entire team of professionals that we spend time training, getting technically ready and savvy. Our analysts take 300 hours of training before they ever touch a customer's security environment. And that is understanding all of the technical nuance from a security perspective, not training on just a specific tool and the specific alerts that they have. We could be an email system if all we were doing was going, hey, you got a security alert, you should go investigate that. No, our expectation is that if you're hiring us to do security professional work, we need to be able to get a security alert from a tool. We need to be able to understand in plain English, what is it trying to tell you? Why should you care? Like, what is the risk to my organization that this might pose? And what did we do about it? Or what do we need you to do about it in order to resolve that? And I need to be able to translate that in a way that a customer doesn't need to sit down and have an encyclopedia and another reference book to understand what I'm telling them. They need to see it, read the information, and be able to make a decision. Those are the things that make a security team valuable as an augmentation to an existing business. And if you can do those, I think that is what is going to drive customers to not only obtain your services, but to stick with you, right? That kind of year over year going, hey, I trust these folks. They're going to tell me what they're doing, and I'm going to be able to understand the value of having them on my team, uh, from a security perspective. And if anybody ever asks the question, how do you know? Well, it's all auditable. I can go back and I can see every investigation, every button that they clicked on. They're telling me where they're getting their information and why it matters. So nothing that they're doing do I have to guess or assume is happening there. So the idea of assumed risk goes out the window. All of my risk is explicitly because I chose to have it, not because it's built into it by default.
How can an external team understand the risk to their business better than they do? And so when you have this kind of outsourced SOC, how can you understand, or how can any external team, understand what's happening in a business that they're not intimately familiar with?
Sure. I think the key to all of that is that phrase staff augmentation, right? You're not the security team. You are an extension of the security team. So if you're looking for staff augmentation, then an important question to start with is how how does your service work with my team to improve our security? What does that look like? And asking that and understanding the collaboration that a security vendor or a staff augmentation is going to have with your existing team. If they can't answer that question in a way that's satisfactory, then we're probably not in the same place of getting the value that you're looking for. And that I think is the big part is, hey, I need to know what you're going to do for me in plain English. There's people that are going to sign contracts. They're going to do the redlining. They're going to do all the other pieces. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, a security alert happens and we have to work on it. What does that look like? And you should be able to explain that in a way and show real world examples of, hey, this is how we worked with teams in the past to meet specific needs, to have, to meet their unique environment needs.
Almost everyone has worked with a contractor at some point to go and do X for them, and it doesn't go exactly right. And then it's that back and forth value. And this is very much a different thing. That's what I was getting from what you were saying earlier. This is really a team effort. Like, how do we bring on a new team member efficiently, quickly, in a way that doesn't just show X result, but also helps us expand as a business? That's a really interesting aspect to this.
Yeah. Well, and then also there's how do you hold your vendor accountable, or what are they promising you for accountability's sake, right? Very often, what I've heard from security providers are SLOs. They are what is service level objectives, where they say, "Hey, we're going to try to do this thing," right? And that's all great. Hey, everybody try as hard as you can. But is that a guarantee somehow? Look for those security vendors and honestly vendors in general from a service perspective that have service level agreements. Hey, we're going to do this in X time, and if we don't, this is what you get. You get service credits, you get money back, you get something else, and if that's not part of the actual terms and conditions, if that's not there for you to understand up front, ask them why. If And if they can't answer that or dance around that, that's something that I think you need to consider when you're looking at, is this worth the investment, and is this the right vendor to pair with for me and my business where we are right now.
We're coming to the end of the time here, and I just want to finish up with a couple of questions here. Is what advice would you give to people wanting to get into security that may be starting off on their journey or looking to pivot? What advice do you think that you can give to help people along their journey?
There, the biggest thing is honestly get involved with your local groups. B-Sides is a great example. There are a lot of local groups. Like you'll see DEF CON groups, B-Sides groups, your ISSAs, lots of tech groups out there are getting together and have professionals and folks that are just hobbyists or interested there meeting, talking, collaborating about their problems, their solutions, their general day-to-day things. And like you mentioned before, finding professionals and holding on to them is incredibly difficult because there's the competition is fierce, and the money from some of these tech companies is really good and very difficult to compete with for say an SMB, right? Um, in that perspective, if you are an SMB and you are, maybe a smaller business, then, understanding how do you incentivize folks to stay? Well, maybe what you look at is uh, look at those college students coming out, look at those people that have, are looking for entry level jobs, are looking for security, and use that as an opportunity to build up your security and provide a an inroad for these people that are trying to break into the business to have that security experience to get into it. It's really, I think, a mutually beneficial situation that is overlooked very often. There's one person that says, "Yeah, I want a security professional and I want it now." Well, my budget is $50,000 a year, and I want somebody with 10 years of experience. Good luck. Good luck. Like, let's be realistic, right? If it's your budget, it's your budget. Totally get that. But let's make sure that we're using it wisely, right? Um, so I guess I kind of dove into both directions, right? If you're the person looking for it, go out, get involved. There are also a bunch of free resources or very cheap resources for learning more about the tech side of things, learning more about security. Try Hack Me. You've got your it's a Hacker One. You've got your, a bunch of different websites and things that will walk you through step by step. Um, it is completely honest. Took an aunt of mine that was in her 50s, 60s, and kind of we're talking about all this stuff and like, how does somebody get started in that? And took her to like a Try Hack Me website and watched her sit there, somebody that has not had a lot of technical background experience and everything else, and learn some common web hacking techniques of how that works so that, walking down the road of penetration testing. Now, that's not what she did, but if somebody without any experience can use tools like that and start to understand those bits and pieces, somebody that has the drive to actually make a career out of this, you absolutely can.
Where can people learn more about Critical Start or follow you or kind of dive a little bit more? Where can the listeners go to learn a little bit more about what we've spoken about today?
Sure. So looking into Critical Start, if you're looking into security services, consultation, everything from we do a full security provision, whether that's professional services to help you, roll out those new tools that you bought. You are in the unfortunate situation that you found yourself in a security event and you need IR services, or you're trying to prevent such a security event by doing staff augmentation with MDR SOC services. Great place to start is criticalstart.com. Go in, have a look at our staff there, look at the different services that we provide, and see where we can help you. If nothing else, just have a conversation about where your security is today and where you want it to be, and we'll figure out how to help you get there.
Thank you so much for joining in, Dwayne. Any final words before we click the big red button?
Just quick supplement to everything that Troy just mentioned. OWASP, don't forget about them. The open source web application security team out there, an awesome open source project, and they have free training for all of their members through a platform called Secure Flag. Another one of those websites where they can dig into various projects, start hacking, start moving toward that security credentials quicker. But B-Sides, absolutely amazing organization. Check it out in your neighborhood, and hopefully I'll see you again at a future one, Troy.
Oh, yes. I'm definitely looking forward to that, and looking forward to the next time I can come in and talk to you guys more about security, whether that's SOC or something else. It's been fun.